Alrighty, guys. Let me just make sure the sound looks like it's working. Alrighty, here we go. I am super excited tonight. We're going to be doing a preview show where we're going to talk about all the greatest things as we got our Super Bowl of the year coming up already. It's our top 100 games of all time. And to go along with me, my good friend, my buddy, my right-hand man, Phoenixknight. How you doing tonight?
Been a busy day for me, so a little bit out of it, but not too bad. I think I'm mostly with it.
Well, mostly with it is pretty good.
Well, considering I went to relay this morning and then had a baseball game in Arlington today, I'm a little wiped.
Yeah. You've been having a pretty busy day, and I know we're throwing this on top of you, but kind of wanted to let everyone know that we got a very important shows coming up every Thursday and Sunday. Every Thursday and Sunday, starting this coming Thursday, we're going to be doing our top 100 board games of all time. So this is the preview show, and we're going to be talking about, all the cool stuff about our lists and doing everything and blah, blah, blah. And this is actually my 5th year I've been doing this. And I know we've done it a few times in the past, and I'm glad we're back to doing it again with you, and I'm glad you decided to step up this year and do it with me.
Well, I was meaning to last year during my advent to the Phoenix during my yearly content explosion in December, but the calendar just kind of got away from me and I never got back to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I got with you plenty early this year and said, hey, I would like to, schedule this. So Thomas Harkless, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good to see everyone coming out and checking the video out. All right, so Thursdays and Sundays, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing a countdown, 100 to 91, 90 to 81, etc., etc. So let's talk about creating the list this year. It's a lot of work, isn't it? I'm already sweating bullets. Jesus. It's a lot of work creating lists, isn't it?
Well, it's a lot of work. I'm sweating a little bit too, but that's probably more because of the light I've got shining in my face.
Yeah, a lot of people that haven't done this, I always say to people, you should appreciate the people that do it because it is a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of effort. So we're going to talk about a little bit about it. I don't know how you created your list this year. Can you share or?
A lot of what I did was I started from my 2024 list because that was the last time I actually did the list and was kind of moving games around. I don't necessarily care as much about playing all of the games because in theory, it's supposed to be an all-time list to begin with. So it doesn't make so to me, I guess I can't wrap my mind around the idea of having that yearly churn of, I didn't play this game, so I'm not going to put it on my list at all. I don't know. That's not something I can really wrap my mind around.
Okay. So you were looking at the games as an all-time favorite, basically.
Well, it is supposed to be a top 100 games of all time list, no?
Yep. Sure is. Now, I think we differ just slightly. Like, I agree with you. I completely agree with you, but I also like to put games that I had played recently on my list to show, hey, the games that I play that I really enjoy, they're probably on my top 100 list. But if you choose not to do that, that's fine. That's good to know because we need to, let people know. That's why we're doing a preview show. So when people go, oh, Phoenixknight, your number 50 game was such and such. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. Well, you can explain to them why you did it that way. So the way I created my list is I always do. I use Pub Meeple because I have my board game collection on Board Game Geek, and you can use Pub Meeple to kind of it'll do like a randomization of pop 2 games up, and you have to choose one of them. And you have to literally go through like 4 or 5 or 6, well, depending on how big your collection is, like 4 or 5 or 6 hours of that. I think it was over 4,000 selections I had to make. It was a lot of selections.
That's another reason why one of my goals for 2026 is to have a down year on new games coming in.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things to be said about that, my friend. That is for sure. Hey, look at that. We got Richard Kerr in the house. His message hasn't popped up here yet, but hello, Richard. How are you? Good to see everyone. So I went through my people. I did the selection show, and then it spits out your list, and I've saved that to my Excel sheet. And then what I do is I kind of fine tune the list from there. I kind of say, oh, this game, no, this is too high, this is too low, and it kind of move games around a little bit. But mostly it's done electronically, not completely though. So I always like to fine tune it because you just never know the algorithms they use. I don't know. It might be good, it might be bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, Richard, how you doing? There's his message finally pops up. It's interesting. It pops up over here, but I can't get it on the chat window over here until like there's that, little bit of delay we have, which is crazy. So, okay. So your game list. So are you finished? Or are you still fine tuning it? Is it mostly done?
There's probably still going to be a little bit of fine tuning going on with it. I've got my 100 games together. It's just a matter of figuring out, okay, how do I want them to go? How do I want the final order to go?
Yeah. And so what I'm going to do when we announce our games, I've got, and I don't know if you're doing this as well, but we should probably talk about this now. I'm going to announce, my 100 game bestest game of all time is blah, blah, blah. And it was number blah, blah, blah last year or the previous time that I did this, which was for me last year. I don't know if are you going to be sharing with us, up and down so we can see like, oh, this game fell 20 spots or this game wasn't on my list last year?
I've actually got enough. I've got the columns to do that in my Excel spreadsheet. So I've got my rankings for the previous times I did these countdowns.
Cool. Well, that'll be good because I think I like to see, kind of compare and see what games are doing well, games that have made it. There are many games on my list. I think we are a creature of habit. I think we are creatures of habit. Like there are many, 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 many games on my list that have been on the list for the last 5 years. Not all of them, obviously. I think there's 18 new ones this year. There was 24 new ones last year. So there's a bunch of new cycling in. But there's still like some games that are on that list.
Yeah.
I would say without getting spoilerific, right? I would say, we're doing our bestest games of all time. The ones that we enjoyed the best, the ones we love the best, the ones that and for us, myself and Phoenix included, I bet if you watch our channel, you would kind of get a general gist of the games that we enjoy. And you would kind of be able to summarize your list based upon your channel. Would you not say that's true, Phoenix?
Probably.
Mostly. So I think it's what I'm getting at without getting at it is like everyone kind of knows my favorite game of all time. It's been the favorite game for the last 3 years, Sentinels of the Multiverse. You know that I played it over 36 times in 2025. So, I mean, you can kind of see like, well, let's see. It was his number one game of all time. The last year was the number one game of all time the previous year. And he played it 36 times this year. He probably still loves it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of getting at is by looking at your channel and watching your channel, you can kind of get a general gist of what how you feel about games just by how much you play them and how much you know, if there's a game that comes on your channel and then disappears, it's probably not going to become your number one game of all time.
I would think not.
Yeah, I would think not too. So how? I don't know. Do we talk about how hard it was to create your list?
Mm, it wasn't too bad for me to create my list. Like I said, I was starting from 2024, my 2024 list, and kind of adjusting it from there, along with some of the new stuff that was coming in. Because I do have a fair amount of new games to my list this year, but I'm
How
not gonna.
many? Speaking of which, how many new games did you play in 2025? Do you record that?
I don't think I was running a full count of that.
Okay. It's a lot of extra work. Again, a lot of people don't realize how much work it is, but I have a whole Excel sheet that I keep track of every time I play a game. I go to my Excel sheet and I put it in and I put in whether it was a new game, how many times I played it, and then like a little synopsis of the outcome of the game or whether I didn't like the game or whatever, kind of like a like a quick statement about the game.
Yeah, I usually when I'm putting my month recaps together, I try to have some notes just to be like, these are the things I want to mention when I talk about the game during Pinot with Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so and then I take and I edit the Board Game Geek site and input it, and I log a play and I rate games on the site, and I do games that come in or out of the collection. I take them and audit them. So it's a lot of extra work to like managing your gameplay. Isn't just I play a game. It's like I got to play the game, then I got to record the game, then I got to update my Excel sheet, and then I got to get it all ready for you do the same thing every month that I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you do a like a review show at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
How'd your review show go for 2020? Let's start there. How do you think 2025 went? If you were going to rate it, give it a grade, like a letter grade.
I think I'd probably give it like a B+ to A- all told.
Okay, B+, A-. It was pretty decent, but it wasn't like outstandingly awesome. So why was it better than average, but just not outstanding? Is what was kind of what were the all right? So let's say what were the positives? Let's start with the positives. Did you?
I think one of the biggest positives was starting to really figure out how season replays are actually going to cooperate on the channel and fitting all of those into the content schedule.
So you spent a lot of time in 2025 testing and figuring out you wanted to add sports games to your repertoire and put them on your channel and do a replay. And you did one in 2025.
I actually did 2 replays in 2025.
Right. You did the hockey and then you did the baseball.
Yep.
Right. So you're kind of fine tuning your you now know how much time and effort it's going to take, what you need to do, and so you kind of fine tuned your. So that was one of the positives. Anything else? New games. How about the new games that you played? Were they really good? Were they kind of average? Some good, some bad?
There were some new games that I was very happy with in 2025. Others, well, they went to Noble Knight in December, so enough said there.
I'm glad I don't live up there because I would be making a weekly trip over to Noble Knight. It's a good thing I live way down here, way away. Get away.
Honestly, you probably wouldn't be getting up to Noble Knight that much because the shopping, to be perfectly honest about Noble Knight, the shopping experience you get sitting at your PC is basically the same thing that you have there because they have maybe 5 to 10% of their inventory in the storefront, and then the rest of it is a giant warehouse.
Right.
So you place the order from the computer terminals, they pull it, bring it up for you, and then you pay for it up there. So it's not really anything much different than what you get from sitting at your computer.
Right. So the games, the new games, there was a bunch. Did any of those? Again, you don't share, but was there any that made the list of your top 100 games of all time?
There were quite a few of those new games that made my list.
Oh, that's good. That's
and
good.
some pretty high up, actually. I'm not going to get spoilerific on what those are.
Good. That's good to see. So you got some new ones in, some old ones out, and you're still churning through. So positive. You got the fine tuning which sports games you like. I think that's another thing he did is he really kind of tried to fine tune like games that you like and games you didn't like. Because I know we had several times this year where we exchanged games because you were getting rid of things that you decided, no, I just don't like them anymore.
Yeah.
So you really kind of fine and tune games that you do like and you didn't like, and that's another positive, I think.
And that's where my ChatGPT engine is actually coming in a lot. It's coming in really handy for me because I feed it data with, hey, I like this game or I didn't like this data, to the point where I can now throw games at it and be like, hey, how do you think I'm going to react to this?
Well, that's good. I mean, that's above my head. That's crazy. I couldn't even fathom that. So let's talk about maybe the things that you weren't as happy about in 2025, things that kept it from being an A plus. What do you think?
Ironically, and I know it's one thing that you really try to get into, but just the number of new games that were coming in, because I don't think people who aren't YouTubers really don't understand how much work it is with all the new games coming in, where you've got to figure out, okay, here's how I want to block it off. Here's if it's suitable for being on camera or not. Believe it or not, it's actually a lot of work to get a new game on the channel and figure out how you want to shoot it.
It is a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of time. It's not only is it just playing the game, like you have to learn the game. If it's a new game, you have to like unbox it. You got to separate all the pieces. You got to punch everything out. It's not just, okay, you watched the video, it was an hour and a half or whatever on the channel. It's not just that. It's all the other time that we spend doing these things. So there is a lot of downtime, especially when you're playing a lot of new games.
I actually made a video a few years ago, back when the game store I went to first opened up, kind of detailing at least my process of, okay, here's how a game goes from catching my eye on the internet or somebody's channel or whatever to actually getting onto my table. It's actually I've got like a 5-step process that I broke it down into.
Well, 2025 for me was, I would say it's the same kind of B plus, A minus, somewhere in there. It was pretty good, but as many of you know, or maybe you don't know, I took 4 months away from gaming and I just didn't do anything because I got so overwhelmed. I got so depressed. As many of you may or may not know, in 2025, on my birthday, which is like of all the days it could happen, it was my birthday. My favorite game company of all time, Greater Than Games, it makes my number one game of all time, went out of business. They closed ranks, and I got very frustrated with all of the shenanigans going on with the tariffs and, what games were coming, what games aren't coming, game companies closing, and I just stepped away. I couldn't wrap my head around like the hobby in general. I couldn't wrap my head around the hobby, saying, the hobby's been really good to me, but then all of a sudden it wasn't very good to me anymore. And I kind of said, you know what? If this is the way you're going to be, I'll find somebody else. It's kind of like that girlfriend. Yeah, she's great and she makes you happy, but then all of a sudden she's she's doing her own thing and she's not making you happy anymore. And you're like, okay, well, what's going on here, chickie?
Yeah.
So that was kind of 2025 in a nutshell for me. It was still a great year, and even though I took 4 months off, completely off, like I didn't play anything from middle of April till the middle of August. So that was 4 months. So I had a nice 4 month break.
You were
So I did
basically.
a lot in the beginning of the year, and I did a ton at the end of the year to kind of make up for it. Believe it or not, I still had 67 new games I played on the channel.
You
And
were
as we
living.
talked,
You were living in Warframe for those 4 months too.
I was living in Warframe. I'm still playing Warframe. Warframe is a time sink, just like board gaming is a time sink. So it's kind of both both hobbies are pulling me into opposite directions and trying to keep me from one another, I guess. But yeah, I did a lot. Still did 67 new games in the year. I played over 480 some. I think it was 482 or 486 gameplays in the year. So I mean, we still did a ton of stuff on the channel. Ton of stuff. I mean, crazy amount of stuff. And I still think 67 with 4 months off was a lot of new games. I like to bring new games to the channel. I like to cycle a lot of new things in. I know, as you know, it's a lot of extra work to do that.
Yeah.
But here's what I would say. I've been working on my first replay since 2018 and it's still working on it. It's just over halfway done. My payoff bits, Atlanta Braves 2018 season. I've been doing that for years and years and years, but I just can't commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I am committing to playing new games, you are committing to doing replays, and that explain to people, give people just a glimpse of what the effort is to do a full season replay.
Well, just a glimpse is deciding what season you want to do, whether I pick or I let the audience help me pick. Then I go through, set up the ticker that I use to run through the game, pick out the feature games. And I borrowed this idea from RJL and I loved it, is to do a demo game before the replay actually starts, just so the audience can see, yeah, here's how the game works in slow motion, moving slightly faster than my love life rather than much faster, which is how I normally play. Then I actually go through the replay, and I take what I call a 2-month semi break when the replay is over, where I'll still play my scheduled videos. So that'll be Sunday morning, Wednesday, and Saturday Mystical Munchies. But after that, I take a 2-week semi break just to let myself decompress.
Yeah, because it's 2 months basically, right?
No, it's longer than that. It's usually, well, probably I would say somewhere between 2 and 4 months, depending on what sport I'm doing.
Okay, yeah, minimum 2 months.
Yeah, minimum 2 months.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah. So it is a huge undertaking, and I can't. I mean, we all do things different, which is great. I mean, you do your thing, I do my thing. I do lots of new games because I like to, my mind needs something fresh and new every day, and I can't commit to these long-term projects. I just can't wrap my head around them.
And I just like the idea too of more of digging into a game than churning through game after game after game, which is where I think the campaign structure for me is very helpful, because that's an easy way to force you to play a game multiple times.
Well, that's true. That is, and you did quite a bit of dialogue. I want to say dialogue-driven games this year.
I've always done a fair amount of dialogue driven, though, especially again in that narrative focused, campaign focused, however you want to put it.
Good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, without getting spoilerific again. We're not going to give you guys any information. We're just going to kind of share. When you look at your list, obviously my list is not finalized. Your list isn't finalized, but according to our list right now, okay. Do you see any big trends, I guess. Positive. We'll talk about the positive trends first. Is there any positive trends that you see?
Mm, Definitely sports games for me are very much up this year. Just I've been playing a lot of sports games, and if you've been following the channel, especially in the second half of the year, you can probably guess what company is behind that.
Yeah, play.
I wasn't going to get spoilerific, but yeah, we'll be honest, it's Play Games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that doesn't tell us which games made the list, but I mean, yes, you've been playing a lot of playing games. Again, if you watch my channel, you watch Phoenixknight's channel, you're gonna know a lot of the games we're talking about, and it's 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 not a big surprise. Um, so sports games for you, a lot of games started going up the list,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I also, it's strange enough, I didn't play in 2024. All my sports games took a dive because I didn't play as many sports games because I was playing a lot of Euro games. I was playing a lot of war games and this and that. In 2025, war games went way down and sports games went way up. So I also have got, if we're talking about the positive things, I think I have a lot of sports games that ended up going way up the list. You know, we've always had sports games on our list. You know, this isn't something new, but a lot of them, were towards the bottom of the list. But now there's a bunch of new ones, and there's also ones that made it quite high up the list, which was good to see.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else that you see that's like a positive surprise or a positive, you know?
Mm, Not really that I can think of. I mean, sports, like I said, is the main thing that I see jumping out at me in terms of something that's on the rise this year.
All right. And then I hate to sound spoilerific, but how about your kind of surprising in the negative way? Things that like you were on your list that you noticed, man, this didn't work out as well as I would have liked.
Mm, I've got my wargaming actually took a little bit of a dive this year, but not a terrible one in the grand scheme of things. Otherwise, you can probably guess a fair amount of my list from the years past.
Cool. Yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record, but unfortunately for me in 2025, I did not spend a lot of time playing war games because of the length of the game, and wargaming tends to be a little bit on the heavier and longer side. And because I took these 4 months off, I had to cram a lot of games into the first 4 months and a lot of games in the last 4 months. So I didn't have a lot of time to play any of the big games.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of big games, if you look at your list, did you notice a lot of big games or more new big games or more small games? How would you how would you rate your list on it's just on overall? Like if it was 50-50 big and small, or is it like 80% small and 20% big? And what I mean by a big game is I mean a game that's um I mean there's no definite like definition. Like if it's an hour or longer, it's a big game. No, because I mean there's small games that are last an hour, right?
Yeah.
So I mean whatever you would use for a definition of a big game, what would you think is your list? How would you make it out?
Mm, I think I'd probably call my list. Looking at it, it's I do have a few big games on there, but I'd say it's probably mostly between small and medium weight stuff.
Okay, small and medium weight. Okay. So like 70% is small and medium, and then 30% is large.
I think I'd probably put it probably more 80-20 is in my initial guess.
Okay. All right. That's good. I actually 2025 for me, again, for the reasons I already mentioned. I'm not going to rehash them. Because of time restraints and everything, I decided to play more littler games than the big monster, heavy, chunky games. There's a few big ones, Galactic Cruise being one of them. Did you have a? How did you do in 2025 with your digitally playing games digitally? Is what I'm talking about. Did you do any gaming? We got together and played, Christmas in Arkham. But besides that, we did something else, didn't we?
Probably not too much, I don't think, other than Christmas in Arkham.
Okay,
but I definitely was dabbling a little bit more.
That was another positive. Should have been a positive. Like we got to spend. You get to spend Christmas in Arkham with the buddy this year.
Well, to be fair, you hated the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament, though.
I didn't hate it. Now hate's a really. That's kind of.
You weren't happy with it.
I was less than thrilled about it, but I didn't hate it. Hate's kind of a. I just thought it was just too. I liked the game. Don't get me wrong. I liked the game. I just thought it was too long to try to narrow down an ancient one. Now, and I we talked offline about ways that I thought you can kind of fine tune that, and hopefully, maybe someday, you'll come up with a better system or a different system and try that out.
Well, I'm exploring a little bit of that. Let's just say if I go with some of the ideas that I'm looking at. Keith Avalon's probably going to take a look at some of his games and go, what the hell did Phoenixknight do to these games?
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, he might be calling you up on the phone and saying, you're playing my game wrong.
Either that or he's going to send a hit squad after me.
You're making my game look bad. Oh my God, that's funny. But I think it'll be interesting to see going forward, how, now that you've had somebody else participate in Christmas of Arkham, and hopefully maybe in 2026 we can do that again. That was a lot of fun. We can go through the whole thing again together and kind of piece it together a little bit differently this year. So 2026, that'll be pretty interesting.
Well, I'm thinking as of now, I'm probably going to be using at least one different intro game for that campaign.
Okay, that's good.
I'm not going to get spoilerific on what that's going to be because I'm still setting things up. There's probably going to be some stress testing coming on that as well.
It'll be good. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but you never know. It might be better. It might be worse. Who knows? I mean, like I said, Fate of the Elder Gods was a good game. It was just, having that advantage of, I know what I need to do to win. It seems like, kind of gives certain ancient ones an advantage.
Now, that's part of why I tried to randomize it with having the random wheel determining the order.
When you were designing your sports replay, did you randomize that as well?
For the summer project, what I did was I went through a whole season selection show to narrow it down to 4 seasons.
Yeah, we all got to vote on it and stuff. Yeah. And then the last one you did, you just decided yourself, right?
Well, that's the way I do it. The winter season, I pick. The summer project, the audience helps pick. That way, the audience gets a voice in the summer, but if I need to introduce rotation, I've got the executive pick in winter to do that. It's like if we're playing a lot of baseball, maybe I use the next executive pick to say, okay, we're going to play, say, hockey, or we're going to do a football season replay, or we're going to do a wide world of sports, something like that.
Right. Okay. Completely understand. Completely. Back to our list, our wonderful list.
Or way too long lists too, but.
Well, I mean, I've got them all the way up to like 150. So, did you find any games that like you really, really like, but just didn't make the list? Like you think, wow, this is a great game, but I just I just don't, find it like top 100 of all time.
Yeah, I actually did have a couple of games like that. I know one game that I kind of liked that I was in my own head a little bit with was actually by Historic Wings, a game called Overflight, where you're playing as a squadron of CIA pilots surveying over the Eastern Bloc. I really enjoyed it, especially once I got out of my head the first time playing it. But I just couldn't But given that I had the first episode of this frustration with it, where I realized I was doing everything right, but second guessing myself, that's one game where I was like, okay, there was a little bit of a problem with the rule book there, so I couldn't justify putting that on my list.
Wow, that's good. I found a game. I played it several times in 2025 because I hear a lot of really good things, and I would love to hear your opinion on this as well. But my number 104, so it didn't make my list, was season ticket baseball. I have a I printed out a bunch of stuff. I played it about 5 or 6 times. But every time I played it this year, it just made me madder and madder and frustrated and more frustrated. And I I understand how to play the game, but it's just for me, it just didn't make any fun. There was very limited fun in the game. What do you think?
See, I kind of felt the opposite about that game, and that's actually Evening Hex to Hex. That was actually the engine that I did my 1985 season replay in last year. I actually found it to be a lot of fun, especially in piecing some of the top moments from that replay together. Where I think the top three, if I were to make a top three list of the moments from that replay, I'd go Mariano Duncan's 3-error performance in the elimination game for the Dodgers against the Expos, Nolan Ryan getting injured in game 1 of the NLCS, and then Kirk Gibson's game-saving catch in game 7 of the ALCS in that replay. So to me, I guess there are a couple of games with season ticket baseball where if another game that I got rid of had been more like it, I probably wouldn't have given season ticket another look, to be perfectly honest. And I'm getting a little bit.
You do, no, that's fine. I love to hear you actually rambling on because it's good to you give detailed information is great. You set up the game differently than I do, though. You have all the players out on the table, and you kind of have your little lineup in a 3x3 grid, basically.
Well, because it's 9 players.
Yeah. So you can see like if you need to find the second baseman, you don't need to look through the stack like I have to do. Like I have a stack and I take the top one and put it at the bottom and kind of cycle through like that.
Yeah.
And it can be for me, it can be every time you roll a 5 results, like 526, then you got to go to the catcher and you got to look at his 6 rating and find out what it is, and it slows the game. And for me, it just slows the game down because everything else is pretty fast and pretty snippy.
Well, the thing about that is you also don't have the layout at your desk that I do, where I've got with that 8-foot table that I've got in my game room. I've actually got the room where even with the board that I use to help immerse in the theme and all the business card holders I've still got room to lay out my 3x3 grid for everybody in baseball. So in case I need to go, like you said, go to a 524 or whatever, and I need to go find the catcher, I just look at my lineup sheet and I go, okay, who's the catcher? Cool. Go to my Tableau, find the catcher, find the result I need, and off I go.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was a lot of extra work, and those games that you rolled a lot of 5s. It's just like, oh my god. If I roll one more 5, I swear to God, I'm just gonna. And then I also had a game that was, which doesn't help. Like it was like, I don't know, 12-2 or 12-1 or something crazy like that, and you're just like going through the motions.
Well, that I actually have had a couple of games even in my replay this year for 2001 that have come close to that, which have made me actually introduce a 10-run mercy rule where. If it gets to be if the two teams are 10 or more runs apart after after the game would be considered official, then I call it a mercy. Then I call it a mercy killing at that point, and I go into the ticker at that point. So that's something else that I've found with all the stress testing I've been doing.
Right. Cool. That's good. That's good. Any other games that you came across that were like honorable? Well, we'll do our like honorable mentions, I guess. Like games that didn't quite make our list, but we thought it's still a good game. I'm just surprised you didn't make the list. And yeah, I mean, Season Ticket's still a good game. It's just for me, it just wasn't my top 100.
No, I don't think I really have any other honorable mentions that I can think of. I definitely have a few games that are in free fall, though. I will say that.
Okay. Which one are, well, before we get to those, keep that thought. I do want to mention one more of my honorable mention ones, and it's because it's related to me and you. My number 113 bestest game of all time, Fate of the Elder Gods. So it was not a bad game, and I can see like the game is actually fun. Like, playing the game is actually fun, and your little solo mode is interesting.
Well, that's not my solo mode. That's the official solo mode.
Okay, the official solo mode. Okay, I thought. Well, you've house ruled some stuff, so
yeah, I've had to do a little bit of house ruling just to kind of make, especially for the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament that I was running. I had to do a bit of house ruling to make it all work.
Right. So that's why I call it yours, because of the. But it was a decent game. All right, so let's talk about free falls, those games, and okay. So what are we thinking? Like games that were in your high up on your list at one point, 2024, 2 years later, out of the list, huh?
And well, in the case of a couple, not quite out of the list, but not long for the list. Let's face it.
Oh, really? Wow.
Like they're still, as of now, they're still on the list. But if I do this again,
so they haven't quite dropped all the way off yet.
But if I do this again in 2027, odds are they'll be off the list.
So that begs the question of why. What is about these games, without telling us what the game is, but why? What's the issue with these games, and why are they dropping? Are you changing as a gamer? Or you just have more games that you playing? Is it because you've got there's videos out there where it's like there's games that are very similar and people like love this game, and then another game comes along and replaces it. Like I play this game instead of this one now.
Well, I think it's probably more me changing as a gamer, because I'm finding what I like, and I'm moving. For years and years, I've been moving really in a more solo direction. So a lot of the games that are starting to move off my list are games that either have no solo mode or work better in a group of people, which to me, it doesn't. How do I want to explain this? Because working better as a solo and working better as a group game and having no solo mode don't necessarily mean the same thing, but for me, in a lot of cases, they amount to the same thing, if that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to share our screen again here with everyone out there and kind of talk about it. So we got the 100 best board games of all time, 10 nights, 2026 edition. Our countdown shows are going to be every Thursday and Sunday nights. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can see the list starting January 15th, going all the way to February 15th. So it's basically 1 month we're going to try and get this done. It's a lot of work and a lot of extra time, but so I appreciate you jumping in this year and doing it again with us. And yeah, so it's going to be every Thursday and Sunday. Whew, it's a lot of work. I know it is, my friend, but I think it's a lot of I think it's a lot of fun sharing and comparing and talking about notes and seeing games that you like and like surprises like what? How can that game be that low? I thought you loved that game. Hex says, damn Jester, this is the same time we play
Live. He
Oh, we
actually
play live. Okay.
he actually
Live,
did
yeah,
put in a
thank you.
correction in his next message.
Well, I'm sorry, buddy. That's the only time I could get Phoenixknight to commit to. It's not up to me, it's up to him right there. He's got a season replay he's doing. He's squeezing me in, so I appreciate it. So I
What
have
can I
to
say? I'm a hard guy to pin down with that replay.
yeah. It's all about, there's only so much time, right? So you have to commit to certain things, and I wanted to have you commit early this year with me, and I'm glad you did. And arrange your schedule around that. So you're still doing the mystical munchie things every Saturday.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see the one from this weekend. How did that turn out?
This weekend was I'm trying to remember. This was the Certain Certainties butter braised red potatoes. Say that 5 times fast.
Yes, it was
I didn't
potatoes. Yes.
I didn't name the recipes. This is out of the official Frozen cookbook.
And how did they do?
I was actually pretty happy with how these turned out.
Good. You're pretty. You must be getting better because most things you get nowadays you seem to enjoy and like.
Well, usually it's a taste issue. Unfortunately, I had a very bad episode with the cool as a cucumber salad with dill. That was the appetizer out of this cookbook. I liked the taste of it. It was actually good, but I wasn't able to sleep that Saturday night because I actually had a pretty bad episode of indigestion from that. I think probably from the cucumbers.
Your cooking is going to kill you.
Honestly, it probably is, but
it all looks good though. It looks like a lot of fun.
And the funny thing is that Mystical Munchies segment actually started off as a way to get me used to having my ugly mug in front of the camera. And I just ended up having so much fun with it that I just kind of stuck with it.
I know. We talked about years ago when you were just I wouldn't say an infant, but years ago when you were just
when I was starting it was after my very first recap show.
When you were just starting YouTubing, not starting, but you've already started, but you were still new to the whole game. Let's just say that. And so I kind of said, hey, you might want to get your face in front of the camera, introduce yourself, get familiar with them, what people see who you are, because people will relate better to you on your channel when they know who you are. And so I'm glad you took a lot of my advice through the years. Look at where you're at now. You can thank me. Oh my God. So Thursday night, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get together. We're going to do 100 to 91. It's going to last probably about an hour, I would think. It doesn't take us that long to talk about 10 games. Probably about an hour. And we're going to have a great time doing it. I love it. I think it's great counting them down and seeing them. But how many games do you think are going to be on your list and on my list? We did this once when me and you and Higher Ground Gaming did it. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And we all had a guess at how many games that were going to be on all three of our lists.
Well, which is harder because Higher Ground Gaming is a very different gamer from either of us.
That is correct. You're a lot more similar to me than
again than Higher Ground is to either of us.
Yes. What do you think? 10, 15, 20, 30, 80, 100?
We're not going to have 80 games crossover. Not only that, we're not going to have all 100 games. I can tell you that right now.
That would be funny, though. That would be funny if we had all.
It's not gonna happen, but that would be funny.
No, because there's games on my list that you don't even own. So yes,
And there's probably games on my list that you don't own.
there are a bunch of the RPGs and stuff. Yes,
I think we're probably going to have 30, at least 30 games that cross over between the two of us.
I was thinking. I am thinking 40. Believe it or not.
I was
thinking 35, but I decided to go with 40 because this way it'll be a little more interesting if I just,
well,
So I'll go with 40.
40 was another number I was floating around, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have that many games cross over. So probably between 30 and 40.
Maybe we'll only have 20. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. All I know is, there's a boatload of games that I own that didn't even make my top 100 that are probably in your top 100 too. So, and probably pretty high. A season ticket baseball we just talked about, right? I know that didn't make my list. That'll probably be on your list. The other thing I would say that took kind of a dive for me in 2025 was you know what I'm talking about when I say the T games? There's a whole series of games that are from David Turczi and somebody else. I forget.
I've heard
they all start with the letter T. Teotihuacan, Tikinu, Tiltim, Teotihuacana. I'm trying to think of the other ones. So, anyways, I used to have a bunch of those on my list, but Terracotta Army is 105. Teotihuacan is 118. So some of them I didn't play them as much this year because they're great games. Don't get me wrong. It's just I didn't get a chance to play them because they're more heavy, medium to heavy Euro games that take a long time to set up and a long time to play. Do you have any medium Euro games? You play Euro games? You play a lot of sports games. You play Euro games.
Mm-hmm.
But you do Euro games differently than I do. Like you don't play the board games that have all the different pieces and parts and you're moving them all around and doing these fun, interesting things.
No. A lot of that's a little more brain burny than I usually want.
It can be a lot of extra work and a lot of extra effort because, I love the puzzle part of it. Trying to figure out, like, oh, I need 2 wood. How am I going to get the wood? Well, if I do this action, it's going to let me do this, which will allow me to get this, which will give me the 2 wood. So then I can do that.
Right.
Yeah, well, it can be a little bit overwhelming at some point. But yeah, that's why the T games kind of, unfortunately, just didn't live up just because, again, I didn't get to play them as much as I did in the past. They're not all off the list, but like other games just started creeping up on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your last game that didn't make the list? Do you feel bad for that game? Do you look at that game and go, oh, it's so close. Can I squeeze it in?
Not really. I actually, the way I did my list was I actually went to 100 and I kind of stopped at that point. I didn't really do a lot of the honorable mentions because once I had my 100 games, I just called the list done at that point.
Okay. All right. Do you want to know what my 101 game is?
Sure, I'll bite.
It is right here, actually. So I'll show
you can
you.
get it down without killing yourself.
Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
I Yeah, I think it's a great game. It just didn't quite make the list for me. It's I didn't get a I think I only played it once in 2025. And it's one of those games that, man, it's a lot of relearning the game, like if you haven't played it in a while. And
Mhm.
that's the problem. If you play it a lot and you know what you're doing, it's like, it's pretty snappy and good. But like
Yeah.
I had to relearn the game, and then it just was a lot of effort to try and remember how to play, and I was just kind of frustrated with it. So it just started. It's still a great game. But you played it, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't played it. Oh, I
No,
could
I
have
haven't.
sworn you had played this one.
I've looked at it off and on. I just have never pulled the trigger on it.
Oh, you like the rolling rights. You play cartographers. You play Twilight Imperium. You like the
You're probably thinking of Twilight Inscription as the
yeah,
role.
that's what I meant. Yes, Twilight Inscription, cartographers. The what games were welcome to games where you're actually like changing the game by writing things and crossing off pieces and parts. That's what this one is. It's basically it's got several boards. There's two boards, and you're like getting a bunch of blue and yellow and or what color are the meeples? Blue, green, yellow, and orange. I don't know, different colored meeples, and then you're spending these meeples to do things on your player board and check off boxes and stuff. And every other round, like the barbarians are going to be attacking, and they're either going to attack on the left, in the center, or on the right, and you have to kind of defend each of those different locations, not knowing where they're going to be attacking. I'm surprised you don't have that one. All right, well, it's good to know. But that's my 101. So, what else?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm just going to be fine tuning my list before we start on Thursday.
Yeah, I will too. I will spend a little bit of time just checking. There's a couple games that I have. What I do is I pull games off my list, and then I pull other games off, and then here's an empty spot, and oh yeah, but put it back in there. I've got a couple games I pulled off, and I haven't found room to put them back on the list. So I'm like, they're either going to not make the list, or I'm going to have to find games that are on the list, move them out of there so I can put them kind of, you know what I mean, kind of slot them in there. So Thursday night, 8:00, we're going to have a great time, and we're going to get to talk about this, and it's going to be awesome. What's coming up on your channel, by the way, so we can let everyone know?
Well, what's coming up on my channel tomorrow? We're continuing my 2001 payoff pitch baseball season replay. We'll be at Bank One Ballpark as the Philadelphia Phillies are playing the Arizona Diamondbacks. Randy Wolf's on the mound for the Phillies, and Kurt Schilling's on the hill for the Diamondbacks. Wednesday, I've also decided to move my next 5 Thursday games into my Wednesday night spot so I can accommodate this top 100 project. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the official Frozen cookbook as we're making the entree, and this is going to be a mouthful to say, Coronation Day prime rib with blueberry au jus and horseradish sauce. And Sunday next week, the winter campaign is continuing in Arkham Horror, the card game, as we're heading into our third scenario in the Drowned City campaign. So that's what's all coming up on my channel in the immediate future.
Wow. Do you like horseradish sauce?
I'm going to find out on Saturday.
Okay. Have you ever had it?
Can't say as I have.
Okay. Well, here's what I would say. I would be very, very careful because horseradish sauce is a very potent stuff. Very potent stuff. And if you're not used to it and you're not, eating it regularly, it's nasty, nasty stuff. So don't ruin your prime rib by putting
probably just dipping the tines of the fork into the horseradish sauce to get the flavor.
It's still gonna. I mean, maybe you love it, but
You're not
a lot of people do. But it's just too much. I just cannot have it at all. All right, well, let's just show off our little screen one more time here so everyone that is joining us here. And of course, I closed the window. So it's going to take me a second to get this back up. All right, window here. There we go. So Thursday and Sunday nights, it's our Super Bowl. Every Thursday and Sunday nights, 10 games, me and Phoenixknight talking and having a good time. Please mark your calendars. We'll see you guys then for that for sure. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. We're done talking about that. All right. Well, I am looking forward to hearing what your games are and seeing what's on your list, what didn't make your list, what did make your list, and seeing so if I was to ask you this, how many games do you think, I mean, you know me pretty well, right? We've been friends for quite a few years now. We've done many, many things together. We've done live shows together. We've done, War Room episodes together. I mean, all kinds of stuff. How many of my top 5 games do you think you can name? It doesn't have to be in this order. Like, how many of my top 5 games, whether it's number 4, 2, 1, ever, doesn't matter. How many do you think you can name? And I'm gonna say 4. I'm gonna say 4 for you.
Off the top of my head, I could probably name 3 of yours.
3. Okay. All right. So we'll start Thursday. We'll announce what games we think are going to be in their top. I'll say what games I think are going to be in your top list. You say what's going to be in mine. Then we will have it, and we'll give you 4 days to think about it. All right. I'll tell you what. You just come up with let's do it this way. You come up with my top 5, and I'll come up with your top 5, and then we'll see how close we are at the end of the year. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And we'll see how many you get right and how many I get right. And how many. I think it'll be great because I think we know each other pretty well. I can 99.9% tell you what your number 1 game is for sure. And I'm pretty sure your 99.9% can guess what my number 1 game is.
Most likely.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be getting number 2, number 3, number 4. All right. Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you coming out tonight for our little preview show and talking about things and just hanging out and having a good time. Check out the Phoenixknight channel. Make sure you subscribe. And he's got a lot of great stuff coming up. So make sure you go give him the thumbs up and let him know we appreciate him arranging his schedule so we can do this every Thursday and Sunday night. So we'll see you guys soon. We have someone. I will be there except when Compass has their live stream. Well, Compass should arrange their schedule around us, I guess, but I guess they won't.
I'm pretty sure Compass isn't going to pay attention to little old us.
Well, we'll take all their viewers away. What can we say? All right. Yeah, 2026. Are you looking forward to 2026?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to? Any big projects? I mean, besides obviously you got your replay, but do you have any big new things coming out this year?
I was hoping to have something ready to go later this year, but I'm not sure I'm going to have that all set to go.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see. Stay in tune, I guess. Stay tuned. Yes, Richard Kerr said I will be there. Awesome. It's every Thursday, not everyone. Okay. Oh, that must be the Compass,
probably.
Yeah. I know I'm going to be working with Cardboard Commander on his show now. So every second Tuesday of the month, I'm going to be co-hosting over there on his channel. So
cool.
We'll probably have to take that show and move it up like maybe a half an hour so I can let's see, instead of doing 8 to 9, we might have to do like 7 to 8 or something like that. So I can be over there at 8 o'clock. Or no, he wants me to run 7 to 8. So we might have to do 8:15 instead of 8 o'clock that night.
We'll figure out the scheduling.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys soon.